Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This evening I'm going to be doing a movie review. This movie is a horror comedy from New Zealand and Canada. It's a co-production. Released in the year 2019, English language, directed by Ant Timpson, and this film is called Come to Daddy. So Come to Daddy is about this very strange young man. He's a musician and he gets a letter from his estranged father saying that his father would love to get to know his son. It's been so long since basically this father left when he was 5 years old, and so he wants to rekindle that relationship, or so this main character thinks. So he travels all the way to the very secluded house that belongs to the father that basically has a beautiful view of the sea, and as soon as he meets his father he just has a very strange feeling. It's not what he expected. The father is very standoffish, he's drinking alcohol all the time and he's very aggressive, and so the main character starts to suspect that there's more to him wanting to meet his son, and he starts to get an inkling that it might be negative. So then all of a sudden there are twists and turns in this film that happen that basically put this main character in a predicament, and it becomes more and more dangerous. And so whether or not this trip to see his father will actually have a good outcome is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Come to Daddy. Elijah Wood has actually starred in some pretty interesting films lately, and it's the same can be said about Daniel Radcliffe. And Elijah Wood, since being in Lord of the Rings, it makes me feel as though he wants to get away from, that Frodo Baggins character, as is the case with Daniel Radcliffe in the Harry Potter series. Since then, he's gone on to some pretty weird films as well. So it's a clear indication of young actors trying to break free of their stereotype of basically being typecast as, in Elijah Wood's case, Frodo Baggins, and Daniel Radcliffe's case, Harry Potter. And so those two actors have very similar sort of actions in trying to break free of that, and Elijah Wood is definitely one of those types of actors. And so coming into Come to Daddy, I thought he looked very strange. Ant Timpson is a very strange director, and that's the reason why I wanted to see this movie. I didn't actually know that this is a New Zealand co-production, and so being a horror comedy, I thought having a New Zealand sort of influence, the New Zealand film industry funding this film, I thought, well, this is definitely an experience that I was hoping that was going to be good, and I wasn't risking too much, is because, all right, well, hopefully it'd be somewhat enjoyable. And at the end of the day, I will say that this was absolutely incredible. This was a very, very strange movie, so be careful of that. If you don't like strange films, then you're probably not going to like this movie, because there are some really random things that happen in this film that I absolutely loved. And I've got a really warped sense of humour. This is a very black comedy, laughing at things that you shouldn't laugh at, and so Ant Timpson is very comfortable in the zone that he creates in this movie, and as a result the viewer is going to have a lot of fun watching this. It is quite nasty in parts, but I love the black comedy that just coats the whole film. So it is a movie that does go very twisty and turny. I thought the twists and turns keep you captivated, and they weren't absolutely ridiculous. They do shock you, but they're not ridiculous, and so I never thought as though I was being smacked over the head with a sledgehammer. It was just basically turning me different ways. And so you're turning me down this road, and then all of a sudden you're being turned down another road. But it wasn't so far out of the blue that you feel as though it was a distraction. It was just keeping you interested, keeping you on your toes, and ultimately that's what you need as a filmmaker, and Ant Timpson just does a great job at captivating an audience from start to finish. None of this movie felt boring, none of the movie felt like filler, and that's why I enjoyed it as much as I did. And so you've got the script that is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it made me laugh out loud. Just the really strange interactions with these really strange characters was fantastic. The acting was great from Elijah Wood. You got Stephen McHattie, who plays the father. I thought he was really strange, and the whole film just has a really offbeat feel. It's a feel that's very unnervy, but at the same time a lot of fun. So you know something's around the corner that's not going to be pleasant, but you don't know exactly what it is. And so because it's not predictable, it's like a roller coaster. You're bracing for impact, you're bracing to go down that really big hill, and as I said, it's just a lot of fun. You've got Michael Smiley, fantastic actor who plays a character in this movie. I'm not going to give anything away. The less I say about this film, the better. But Michael Smiley's character was fantastic again, but also very deranged. And so the whole film has a deranged quality to it, and it's just definitely, it spirals way out of control. And so at the start of the film, you think you have kind of a grip on what's going to happen, but you don't. and then you just basically give yourself to the director, and the director is going to take you on a journey, and that journey leading up to the climax was absolutely fantastic. Cinematography was great. I love the way that it was filmed. Again, very strange, and you've got some pretty nasty acts of violence as well, especially one, actually I'm not going to tell you, but there are some pretty nasty acts of violence, and so that shocked me, but it shocked me pleasantly as far as a surprise is concerned. And so I am a seasoned sort of fan as far as horror is concerned. I thought the movie isn't so much scary. It is shocking with the violence, but it's not so much scary. But it has that dreaded feeling to it that does warrant it as a horror movie. But the comedy and the laugh out loud sort of dark aspects of this film are definitely what makes it. And as a result of that, I really, really liked it. If I had issues with the film, as I said, not particularly scary, but it makes up for it with the positives. And so if you are a fan of dark comedies, horror comedies, well, I'm going to say a dark comedy as opposed to a horror comedy, but it does have some pretty shocking moments that keeps you on your toes, and the whole film basically keeps you on your toes. So if you like dark comedies, Come to Daddy is definitely for you. I really enjoyed this one. I can see myself watching this quite a few times because it does have a lot of replay value. So if it sounds like your kind of thing, go out there and see it. I really enjoyed Come to Daddy. I'm going to give this movie 4 stars. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.